internet friends, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be going over this Jack and Lilly strange vehicle that went back and forth between the hours of midnight and 5 a.m. going into May 2nd, the day Jack and Lilly disappeared. Before we get started, make sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That way you are always notified when I upload new videos. All right, let's get started. Okay, let's get started. So basically it says the day before the children were reported missing, the Mounties say the children were observed in public with family members. It was the last time they were seen by anyone outside the home, period. Now, it goes on to say, Daniel said in an interview that the evening before the kids disappeared, everybody was home. So if you remember, we have Malaya's little Google Maps from a few weeks ago, and it said that they got home at 3:11 p.m. And I'm going to show that to you in just a moment after we read this. And then it says, Daniel, or he, said he spent the evening working on the fence in the backyard. It was a night just like any other for the young children, he added, though he couldn't remember what time they went to bed. There is, however, at least one account of a strange activity at the mobile home that night. RCMP spokesperson Corporal Carly McCann confirmed that police received a tip on May 8th, which is 7 days, 1 week, from someone who described hearing a vehicle come and go from the mobile home throughout the night before the children were reported missing. Investigators are continuing to review and assess more than 600 tips from the public and follow up on over 800 tasks, she wrote in an email. Now, it goes on to say the neighbor who spoke to the Globe said they reported this information on May 8th. The neighbor said they were working on a vehicle in their own yard when they heard the same loud 5-speed car come and go up from the trailer about 6 times from midnight to 5 a.m. after the children's disappearance. The neighbor considered it important information and reported it to the police. Okay, so now if the neighbor considered it an important, why didn't they tell the police that day? Because the police went and knocked on this particular neighbor's door. And maybe they're scared, I don't know. Now, we've heard with this particular neighbor that there has been beef between the two families. As I played audio from Janie yesterday, and she says they're very bad people, yet Jack and Lilly rode the school bus with this neighbor's children. Now, by looking at the maps here, this is Jack and Lily's home. A little bit over 500 feet away is this neighbor here. And this, who I believe is the neighbor that they have beef with. This neighbor obviously has children that ride the school bus with Jack and Lilly Sullivan. Now, if we zoom in, okay, by looking at the neighbor's yard, they said they were working out in the yard, if you look at the article. So now if I take my little man down here, it's just going to show like a driveway with grass in it. It's not going to actually show the entrance of their house. So it's pointless to do that. But if you look here, it looks like, without getting too blurry, this may be like a house here. I don't know if this or maybe this is the house and this is a barn, or maybe it's two houses on the property. I don't know. But if you zoom out here, now if they're working on their vehicle in their yard at between midnight and 5 a.m., it's going to be dark as hell out here. So how are they going to be able to see their vehicle unless they have a bright light? Now, if someone does go by on the road, they're not going to be able to tell if somebody's out here working on a car or something because the way their driveway is. They might see a little bit of light over here, depending on how bright of the light they're using to work on their car. Now, I don't deny that these people are actually working on a vehicle in their yard. Some people prefer to work at night. Maybe they had to get something done for a customer. Who knows? We don't know the situation. And I don't deny, let me rephrase that. I believe they are telling the truth about this vehicle going back and forth here. And if you remember from the dispatch that I played yesterday, I'm going to zoom out here. Keep in mind, this is the house right here. And then remember the staging area was on this road here, which is Matheson West Road. This is also the same road Janie and her son Justin searched, and I believe met up with Daniel on the four-wheeler. Now, like I said yesterday, there's two Matheson roads. There's one east and one west, but this seems to be the main one. This is where dispatch or the staging area was. This is where they said they found the trail camera. So they, in my opinion, our CMP are wanting to know who and what was going on that time of night. Okay. So actually, I don't want to zoom in there. If you look here, we're going to measure this real quick. So where are you at? Right there. Okay. Without making this video too long. And we're just going to go right, if it'll let me. Let's do that. All right. So if we zoom in here, that's not too far away. Now, remember, it's 500 feet from this neighbor to here. So this would be the area, I'm guessing, that the car would have traveled. Right through here, like this little cup area here, cup and handle looking thing. So they found the trail cam footage here. They staged up here. The neighbor heard a 5-speed vehicle going through this area, coming in and out of the children's home that night. Thursday night going into Friday morning. I think there's something there. Okay, by looking at the measurement again, I just want to, I want you to notice, so remember this is 500 feet from Jack and Lily's home to the neighbor. Then right here it says I don't know if you guys can see that, 1,000 feet. And then right here at the end of the corner of Gairloch Road and the Matheson West Road, it's just looks like maybe a little bit, it's definitely under a mile, like half a mile or something like that. I think that's what that says. I need glasses, guys. Well, for a car to travel 6 times in 5 hours back and forth, what could they have been doing? With 6 trips within the 5 hours, that's 2 miles. If my calculations are correct. So 6 times, 3 times, or look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back home. Okay? So start from home. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that's if they went over in this area. Now they said it was in between, like, so 12 and 5, and it was 6 times. Now we don't know if they went off this direction or if they went down this direction. We don't know that. But we do know that, now I'm going to go over this again, blanket, boot print. We have Daniel's dad, Daniel's brother. Janie's got land over in here. Then we have the star that was found over here in the middle river of Pictou. All right, before I make this too long, I'm going to show you some photos of some things I've noticed at the home, at Jack and Lilly's home. We are going to go back and picture the day of Thursday when Jack and Lilly supposedly got home. Now, if we look at Malaya's time of arrival back at the house, it says 3:11. But when we looked at Daniel's messages, he said that they got back at 4 p.m. I believe Google over Daniel. Sorry, but it shows me right here that they got home at 3:11. Now let's zoom out here. Okay, so this picture is kind of blurry. I can't really zoom in too much. But this here is the fence that they were working on, okay? See the lumber and stuff here? Then you have these cars here. I think this was the day the search was going on. Not too sure. You got a truck. Then the 3 of the same cars that are usually there. And then, I don't know, that looks like a box truck or something in the back. So, Daniel says when they got home, he basically started working on this fence here. This is a little bit better of a photo. I'm going to zoom in here. And this is the fence that they were building. I don't know if it'll allow me to zoom in without becoming blurry. Now, this all connects now. I believe, yes, this is from before. This is when, this was an aerial photo taken of the day the children went missing. So, like from a drone. Now, nothing had been done yet. Now, on the new photos, we see the fence is complete. We see this has been painted. The chicken's got a whole new mansion, I'm telling you. And they've cleaned up a little bit. Now, Janie has a little area where she can sit. She's put flower pots here and stuff like that. All right, let's go through the other photos here. That was my drawing for one of my other videos where Janie said that she put the pool, then the boot print was found, Malaya standing there with the baby. Remember, Janie was crying here the day the children went missing. Thought that was very odd. And then just up here is where the children play in their fort. Janie can actually hear and see them from her RV. And of course, Janie's dog that has skin problems. All right, let's go here. Another picture. So Daniel and his mother working on this fence here. Okay. Now there's some odd items that I noticed on top of the chicken run that I wanted to look through as well here in a moment. But okay, so now if you remember, they supposedly got some takeout or went somewhere, got food, and ate the food. And I'm putting that around basically from 3:11 to 4:30, they ate their food. Kids, remember the kids, Janie said the kids were playing outside. Okay, I want to keep this up for a minute. Kids playing outside. They must have been playing around in here. Remember, Janie says Jack found a worm and she said, good job, or something like that. All right, remember that? And then she said, I don't know what time they went to bed. I don't know nothing. All right, so kids played outside maybe from 4 to 6, I'm thinking. All right, then kids, now we didn't know what time they went to bed, but I put down from 6 to 7, kids went to bed. They were supposedly in the same clothing. If you remember what Daniel said, he said the kids slept in their clothing. And I always said, how did he know? And people said, well, he turned the light on them at midnight. I just thought that was weird. So I did a poll and basically asked people if they would turn the light on to sleeping young children. Think about it. They had a long day that day on Thursday. They went shopping at the dollar store. They went to the medical place, and then there was 3 other places that they went. It takes roughly around, I'm just going to say 20 minutes each way. All right. So they had a long day Thursday. Did they sleep in the car on the way back? Were they wound up in the car on the way back? We don't know this. Nothing was said on their way home other than they stopped and grabbed some takeout before they got home. I think they went to a hardware store and got some tools and stuff to fix the fence, because doing a fence here, you need to put in posts and stuff like that. You need an auger to dig in this rocky ground here. When you dig up north, you need an auger because you got to dig below the frost line, which is around 4 to 5 feet. And then you put the posts and then the concrete inside there so your fence stays up, or else it's going to fall down. Okay, so I think that they went and got tools for that. And then look in this photo. This wasn't here before. This is like new gravel and stuff. I mean, the chickens got like a whole makeover. It looks like they got wood and stuff in there. And then swings with duct tape and stuff. That's just wonderful. So let's see the next. So Daniel said fence 8 p.m. at dark, basically. So he came inside roughly around between 8:30 when it got dark. Okay, he didn't say anything like I sat down, I watched TV for a while, I read a book, I talked with Malaya. Nothing like that. All he said was Malaya went to bed before him, and then he went to bed after midnight. Okay, so before he checked on the kids at midnight, and then he went to bed. Well, now the car, Daniel should have heard that car if the car started coming back and forth from the house down past the neighbor's house. Because if the car started at midnight, wouldn't Daniel have heard that car? Did Daniel leave the house that night? Did he go somewhere? Didn't tell Malaya she was asleep? Did he take the kids out of the room? Were the kids actually playing in their room, aggravating Daniel? And Malaya would have never known. He took the kids that night. He did something. I'm just speculating. And made a few trips, got back home, and played it off as if nothing happened. What do you think? Do you think the whole story of hearing or seeing Lilly that morning was a lie? Well, now Malaya said that she saw Lilly as well at 8:30 a.m. And then they both heard Jack after that. So that's just odd to me, right? Before it was just one of them saw. It was just Daniel that saw Lilly. Now this is more of the new fencing, okay? And then I don't know what this little crack shack is up here. I don't know. Who knows? But it's some really little odd things. Now Janie said that she renovated her RV. I wonder how she renovated it. The chickens, I'll tell you what, if I was to live there, I would definitely live in the chicken area. It's the nicest part of it, in my opinion. Now, yeah, I don't know really what Janie renovated out of here. She said she has no cabinets, no cupboards, no nothing out of there. Makes you wonder, right? Let's see. Let's check out this. And the dog with the skin problems. Get some salmon oil for that thing. I mean, like, golly. All right. Now, this is the area that Janie's pointing to for the boot print. Remember, in the rain photo that we saw yesterday, water stands in these little pockets over here. So, I don't know. In my opinion, there would have been more than one boot print. And what about Janie's footprints and everybody else's that were on the property? Let's see. And this is the same picture of the fence here. Okay, last but not least. So this is the chicken coop area. And this looks like there's some items on here. Now, when you look at the older photos, you can see items too. Now, it looks maybe like a tape measures here. What do you guys think? And that looks like a mask. Like when you're painting in closed areas, you wear a mask. I think that's what that is. And then a screwdriver here. And then another mask. This looks like maybe a painter's cloth and stuff. Why on earth are they sitting it on top of the chicken run? But what I wanted to talk about was, Janie mentioned how Daniel was yelling at Jack because he was trying to let the chickens out, because she had already let the chickens out, but he would fiddle with. When you look in at this photo, how on earth can Jack let the chickens out? How would he let them out? Now, think about it. He's 4 years old. He would like have to tower up there. Chickens don't really fly. So if he messed with this here, like how would they, you know what I mean? Like how would they get out? How would the chickens get out here? Because this looks like it's really in the ground there. Now, I had a chicken run that had like little wheels on one side. And you can move the chickens around the yard. This is before they were free range. Because the chickens kill the grass. See, there's no grass here, but there's grass out here. So this doesn't move though. This is just, it's in there. So how would Jack, why would she think Jack would let her chickens out? It just makes no sense, right? Like how would there's no way to let them out. This is in the ground right there. So what do you guys think? I think all of their stories are fabricated, starting from Thursday afternoon. I want to know what happened with the children that night. I wonder if the children were dropped off that night somewhere, or maybe something happened at midnight when Daniel turned the light on the kids. He said he knew what they were wearing. How would you know what the children are wearing at midnight when you turn the light on them? And why would you turn the light on the kids? Why would you turn the light onto a 4 and 6-year-old child while they are supposedly sleeping? And usually kids sleep with, you know, their blankets and stuff like that. Would he go over there and like lift the blanket up to see what kind of clothes they were wearing? Did he, you know, like, how did he know that they were sleeping in the same clothes? Why didn't Malaya give them a bath? Wasn't Jack outside playing with bugs and worms? Remember that? But all I know is that Jack and Lilly are still missing. And I think that these little clues are starting to come together. Slowly but surely, the puzzle pieces are coming together. No, I do not believe Malaya hid Jack and Lilly. Why would she do something like that? And then if she did, why not come out and say, I hid my children from this monster? There are too many red flags. So many red flags in this case. And like other missing children's cases. Something is not adding up. I don't know. I want to hear your comments. So make sure you leave your thought below. And thank you for watching.